four people with four unique stories on one mission to disassemble corporate brokerage one bad suit and tie at a time. We are the Rebels of Real Estate.
Hey, everyone.
What's happening?
Are you excited?
What up?
It's our first podcast. Are you excited?
I am excited, yeah.
That
gonna be great.
not
I can hear it in your,
excitement.
I can hear it in your voice.
Let me talk a little bit louder. I am excited.
Adam's
That's
excitement
better.
is all over
Is that
his
better?
face.
A little bit.
It's
What else is all over your
everywhere.
face?
That was like a monotone excitement.
All right, we got to cut that. No.
Wow.
That's good.
Okay, that's
Redo that
how
one.
we're going to start
Yeah,
this
no.
whole
We're-
podcast. That's not good.
What's all over your
We're-
face?
It's hair. It's hair. Facial hair.
Yeah.
The only place he grows it on his face, right?
That's weird.
Yep, we're digressing already.
It's all good.
So why are we here today?
Hey, like we've wanted to start this podcast for a while, right? And we just had Bash. For everyone who doesn't know what Bash is, that's our big party that we have for our agents. It's not
was
about.
Incredible this year. I had a great time.
It was awesome, and I think our agents love it too because we don't like we don't make it so that you have to be a top producer to be there, or we like everybody for what they do and what they bring to the table. So
All inclusive.
all inclusive.
Yep.
So one of the things we did at Bash though was we actually sat down and told our story to everybody that was there because most people don't know our story. So nobody that's listening to this knows our story either, or maybe only a few people do. So maybe it makes sense to start by just talking about our story, why we're here, how we got here. What do you think?
My mama.
I think that's a great idea, Lisa.
Thanks, Adam.
All right, let me kick it off here, and if I start rambling a little bit too much, you guys can jump in. and
Okay, stop
slow
right
me
now,
down.
sir. That's good.
Yeah, so like Lisa was saying, the start of Iron Valley Real Estate really started when I got my real estate license back in 2006. At that time, I was 20 years old, and it was something that my family did. I had a stepmom and an aunt that both were in the business, and it was appealing to me because, being self-employed, being entrepreneurial, kind of making your own way in your own business has always, been something that I've been passionate about, and having family in the real estate business just, kind of made sense, from a mentorship standpoint and whatnot. And, so I got my license when I was 20, 2006, and guess, 2 years later, we were in probably one of the greatest housing declines or housing recessions that it, at least has been for a long time. So, I was kind of at the point where, I had to do something in addition to real estate just because the way the market was and, sales were few and far between. So my other aunt was a nurse, and she talked me into going back to school, getting into nursing, and that's what I did. So, but all the while I continued to sell real estate, and everywhere I went in the nursing end, working, school, etc., I sold people houses and continued to grow my business on the side. And it got to the point where I had my first daughter. I had to make a decision, which career path did I want to stay in, because I couldn't continue to do both full time. And I chose real estate because that was my first passion. So, and, I said to my wife, I want to start my own brokerage. I see there's an opportunity to start a new hybrid type model and, grow in the real estate space and just really just go for it. And that's what I did. I leased an office in Lebanon, PA, little old Lebanon County, Pennsylvania, and started the first office in 2016. And it was just literally myself and one other agent. And, I, at that time, didn't have a whole lot of money or whatnot, and signed a 5-year personal lease, $150,000. And I said, I'm going to make this work one way or another. And that's what I did. And I just, I was recruiting, I think.
That is taking a leap of faith.
It absolutely
taking a leap
is.
of faith.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to do that in life, and not recklessly, but if you have the knowledge or experience and some foresight in the business or industry that you're passionate about, take the risk, go for it, and and if you put all your effort and attention and drive into something, you will succeed. Like you can talk your way into success, and if you're focused, and really that's kind of what happened. And Corey came along, met Corey a few years earlier.
That's when things got rolling.
That's when things really actually, I mean, things did change. I met Corey when I had my first daughter, looking to buy an SUV because I couldn't haul around her anymore in my little car that I had, and just talking to him in the car lot and telling him what I did, and I was in real estate, and I said, man, you'd be like, he's such a smooth talker. He came out, he was talking to me right away, chatted up the conversation. I felt like I knew him my whole life. And, I said, man, you'd be really good in real estate, man. You should really consider getting your license, kind of do your own thing. And
I pretty much was thinking, screw this guy. I just want to sell him a car. I'll be honest. That's what
basically. And I had no intention of buying a car from him. So so it goes both ways.
That was actually Adam's way of recruiting real estate agents. He was going around to car dealerships trying to recruit people.
Out there kicking tires.
Like the Amway.
Yeah. And tire kicker.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Pretty much tire kicking, yeah. So anyway, I gave him my card, and 3 years later, when I opened my first office, I get a phone call from Corey. And he's like, hey, do you remember me? I was trying to sell you an SUV over at the car lot. And I was like, yeah, I remember you, Corey. He's like, I got my license. I started over here at Berkshire a week ago, and I'm not feeling it. I want to come talk to you. So what happened, Corey?
I'm not telling you. So I got into my whole backstory. I'm not going to give you the whole backstory. I was born in 1977 at an Army base in Killeen, Texas.
I want to see your backstory.
Well, I can show you that later. Actually, if you want to see it now, I can show it to you. Nobody will know. So anyhow, so I got into real estate. Been in sales my whole life. I've always sold pretty much everything. Some legal, some illegal, but mostly legal things. So as I got into real estate, I realized that I was working for Berkshire Hathaway. Realized pretty quickly that it felt like a job to me. I didn't like the fact that the broker or the manager for that office was like trying to push me towards a team, and it just felt very much like what I had just left in the car business. And the car business for me, I was tired of the status quo. Was tired of hitting my numbers or close to hitting my numbers, allowing someone else to kind of dictate what I'm able to make and what I'm able to do. Changing my pay plan more than one time. So for me, I was like, here I am working my butt off for these people. I'm working 60 hours a week. And then they change my pay plan, or I'm allowing someone else to dictate, hey, this is what you can make. And at that point, I was like, I'm going to get into real estate and see what I can do in that business. So I got in, started with Berkshire, ended up not really going so well. I was there for 1 week. Everybody was bashing at him, saying he doesn't know what he's doing. He's young. He's not very smart. He's this, he's that. And I realized pretty quickly, like, I wanted to meet this kid. At that point, how old were you? Like 28?
I was 29.
29, yeah. So he was a youngster. I sat down with him. We went to the Quentin Haas Diner, his favorite spot with all of the other 80-year-old men in the morning that listen
Local
to AM radio.
watering hole in the morning.
So we sat down there. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
Still reading the newspaper, talking about politics every day.
All day long.
Eating their giant sausage, because that's what they do.
Wow.
Have you?
Wow.
The sausage there. Come on, you know what? The breakfast sausage there is a full freaking sausage.
I've never seen that there. But.
Well,
I have.
Is that when you interviewed Lisa, Adam? Is that how it went down?
That's where I met Lisa, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Adam's big breakfast sausage. Wow.
So, yeah, sausage. I never noticed this. The sausage was huge there.
It's huge.
I know what you're talking about. It is.
I don't eat at the Quentin
It's not a
house.
normal breakfast sausage, what you would think you would
I
get
am
at
not
breakfast.
Pennsylvania Dutch.
Anyway, so this guy pulls out his little flip book, and hell of a salesperson too, might I add. But he pulls out his flip book and he's like, "Hey, this is what my office is going to look like." At that point, the office wasn't even built yet. These are my splits. And I looked at him and I was like, the same thing that agents ask me every day. Well, how do you make money? How is this going to be sustainable? The same question that I get asked all the time. Realize like this is, if this is true, this is huge. And I knew immediately, and this sounds cheesy, but I went home to my wife and I was like, this thing is definitely could be huge. It could be that thing for me. So she said, hey, well, you just started with Berkshire. It's not like you've been there for a long time. She's like, give it a shot. So I left, started with Iron Valley, worked for 6-8 months, did pretty well as a new agent. He asked me about 8 or 9 months in, hey, would you be interested in opening an office? I said, you're probably really stupid, but hey, if you want to do that, that's cool. He said, who would be a good third partner? I said, Rob Kleeper. I know he just got his license as well. He has a lot of contacts in Harrisburg. I said, why don't we sit down with him and have the conversation? And we did, and here we are. That's not really the whole story, but we'll leave it at that and let Rob tell
the
rest.
first time that we sat with Mr. Rob Kleeper, he pretty much said, no, I have no interest.
Bitter beer face, mean mugging.
Kind of blew us off.
All business.
Arms crossed.
All day, every day.
Dirty looks, mean mugging. Finally, I was like, this guy's not interested, man. We need to find somebody else. That's true. Well, we did, and we tried to find someone else, and ended up, people stood us up 2 or 3 times. And then Rob came back around, and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Kleeper. But
yeah, I just thought you guys were idiots. I'm like,
oh, thanks.
Not because of what you were doing, because I was literally, I think I was like 7 or 8 months into business, like, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, let me go open a brokerage 7 months into real estate, killing it. I owned my own businesses before, but not real estate. So I was like, what am I going to do? Sorry about that.
Allergies are terrible here in Pennsylvania today, so excuse us in our hacking.
Ready to move to Florida. But yeah, so anyway, I was in the restaurant bar industry my whole life, 16 till my 30s. Took all of my life. You know, if anybody's in that business, it's like 90-hour work weeks. You're stuck in between 4 walls. You never leave. You have no life. You're out till 4 in the morning. You're always getting wasted. All the other things that come along with that business. And I owned a bar in downtown Harrisburg, a little cocktail martini lounge. I was pretty successful. Had a falling out with a guy who owned the building who was supposed to sell it to me. Deal fell through, closed it. Was going to open a sports bar close to home. It was about a $2 million project I was working on. And I was probably about 3 months away from signing. No, not 3 months. I'm sorry, like probably 3 days away from signing, actually. And my daughter was like 9 at the time, and I was home for a few months, not working. And she's like, Dad, I really don't want you to open another bar. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. I'm like, that hurts. So I was like, all right, let me figure this out. So I decided not to sign the contract for the bar. And I'm like, well, I can't go work for anyone because if you know me, that not going to go well. So I was like, okay, real estate. I think
pretty much everybody in this room. That's
all of us. We're not working for anyone. Yeah. That's why we're here. So I was like, what can I do? So real estate. So I had a guy begging me for a while to do commercial real estate because of my connections in the business world. And so I went to go take a class, my pre-licensing class, only to find out that it was actually a Berkshire Hathaway class that was disguised as a non-Berkshire Hathaway class. And they recruited me, which actually was probably one of the better things that happened to me because they convinced me to go into residential real estate to start. And so I joined Berkshire Hathaway. I was there. I was blessed to have a really good DO who really took some time with me to talk about some things. But the unfortunate side is she didn't sell real estate for like 9 years. So she's like, hey, go knock on doors. Go hang door hangers. Work your circle of trust. You are going to sell lots of real estate. And that's not what the market was at that time because everybody else was doing the same things, and that didn't work. And
that was maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What people did.
Super old. So the one thing that did resonate with me when I sat with Adam and Corey is Adam was like, hey, listen, are you buying leads? And I'm like, what do you mean buying leads? He's like, are you buying leads? And I'm like, well, no. He's like, go look into realtor.com, buy some leads, don't spend a ton of money up front, build your business, take whatever money you make off your first couple deals and up your spend. And I'm like, okay, I'll try it. So I did that. And instantly my business changed. And that's actually why I called back the second time, because I'm like, here's this brokerage that's been around forever, Berkshire Hathaway, and they're supposed to be great. And the reason I chose them is because I felt like they were going to help jumpstart my career. And in 8 months that I was there, they didn't do anything for me. And the 1 month that I was with Adam, he's like, hey, or one combo with Adam, he's like, hey, you're buying leads, and it changed my business. So, for me, that was the deciding factor. And I called them and I'm like, all right, let's do it because, he understands the business and what's going on in today's market. So I'm like, let's jump in. So we did. And we grew super fast. 30 agents in like 3 months in Lingelstown.
Grinding on the phones.
Yeah.
That's all we did.
Day in and day out.
terrible.
You say day in and day out. What were you doing?
I was painting. Remember,
He
we
did
were
help
all
paint.
painting.
He did help paint.
Our first office, it needed some paint and carpet, and we said, we can paint. We'll take care of it. And
Terrible.
no,
That was
never
horrible.
again.
Don't ever hire us to paint your house.
Yeah.
Or anything, really, for that matter.
You use child labor too for that.
We did. Yeah, my kids also.
Honestly, my biggest memories of the first office was me and Corey almost beating people up regularly. Corey would kick me under the table because, it was horrible. Like, if you want to talk about, like, success stories or starting out or what it's like is, man, people would just look at me and Corey in a room and flat out say we're idiots. Like, this is never going to work. You're an idiot.
There were days where him and I would have 6 or 7 appointments coming in, and we were running back and forth to each office to meet everybody. And there was one day, that the day he's talking about, there was a guy sitting across the table with a smug, suit and tie first off, smug look on his face, and he said, you guys are idiots. And this is after a day of meeting people. We were burnt out, we were tired, and I literally had to, like, grab him, hit Rob in his leg, like, don't kill him. Just don't kill him. I want to kill him too. If you do hit him, I might come across the table as well. But it was really, really hard. That was really hard.
Man, we got beat up. Like, we got beat up constantly. And for good reason for some of them, because, we had no website for agents. We had no systems. We just had really great splits. And Harrisburg was a pretty competitive market at the time. So, but it was eye-opening. And I think the biggest thing we took out of it is we all got together and we're like, how do we improve this? And how do we make it easier to recruit people? And even with all those, despite all those, we still crushed it. Corey was on the phone. That was not my forte, and Corey helped me with it, but I hated it, and so I can relate to all the people that hate doing the recruiting calls because it's terrible. But Corey's great at it, and I don't think he loves it, but he's good at it. And
You can be good at it, but it's a lot. It's a lot, and it takes a lot out of you when you're grinding on the phone all day long. But it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary evil.
And how many of those people, though, that pissed you off those first couple of days now are agents, right?
Oh man, there's a
lot.
There's a whole lot of them. In fact, I remember somebody saying to me, "I would exact word. Well, I'm not going to give you. Yeah, I will give you exact words. I would never fucking come to Iron Valley." That's what he said. I was like, "Okay, well, I appreciate it, man. Take care." 3 years later, he called me and he's like, "Hey, you guys are sticking around and looks like you're growing." And he's like, "I want to come over." So he's been with us now for a few years, and I definitely want to be like, "No, you're not coming," but. It was awesome to get him in, and that story we can tell over and over again, for people not believing in us from the beginning. And what do these 3 guys know about real estate? They're new. They have no clue what they're doing. But what we did have was hustle, and we out-hustled a lot of people. That's really it.
Overcoming the objections, right? Because it was like, think about it. Like, me and Corey are the ones doing the recruiting. I think when we opened our office, it was just hitting my year mark. Corey was like a year and 4 months into it or something like that. And we're going to be their director of operations and the owners of people that have been in the business for 15 years. I get it, but we worked our magic and pushed ahead and somehow got some people in. So it was crazy.
That first year for me, when we had our Christmas party, after grinding for that first year, and how many offices did we open? Was it 4, 3 or 4?
I think we had 3.
Okay, so 3 offices. It was January of that year, and we had our first Christmas party in Harrisburg, and there's 100 people, 150 people in the room, and we're all like, holy shit, what did we just do? Like, this was not the plan. My goal was to open 1 store, maybe bring on, a couple agents, make 100% commission for free. That's what I was really honestly happy about. I was like, I'm getting 100% of my commission. And then we see all these people that are believing in our vision at that point. That for me was eye-opening. And I think that's when we realized, okay, we may have something here. So.
You know what I think back on is when we were ready to open Camp Hill. And we were working on a really cool location for a while, and the owner of the building was crazy.
Oh man, I forgot.
And like egomaniac. And we had a meeting and sat in a meeting, and his concern was that our real estate agents were going to be in the office after hours and might rob the place. Literally said that to us while we're sitting there.
Take his sodas.
Yeah,
that was a big.
Yeah, it was like crazy.
To take his sodas out of his refrigerator.
Like basically, I think he was looking at 3 guys that were, I was in my 30s still. I think I was in my 30s. You were or just barely 40, and he was young 30s.
I was still 30s. I was like 39.
We're all in our 30s.
We were in our 30s.
Yeah, so I think he was just looking at us like these guys are idiots and they're young punks or something. But and then we call it "fuck you" money, right? Because he was like he just treated us like shit. So we're like, all right, bro. we're going to be you one day, and we're not going to treat anybody like you just treated us. And that to us was like a driving force for us, because it was like, who are you? Like, who are you to treat us like that? And we're trying to bring you business. So we opened right down the road. And that was
better location, by the way.
How many years ago was that we've been in there 6 years now?
It was 2017.
We just renewed our license or renewed our lease there. Yeah,
2017.
So there you go, big guy. Like, I hope your other whoever you got instead of us is renewed after 5 years, because we're still in our space.
Yeah, it worked out actually. Now we're right on a major highway.
But the thing with guys like that is, coming from our past. I'll speak for myself. Coming from my past, you automatically feel like you're less than, regardless of whether or not you're doing what you're doing. You still second guess yourself, coming from the past that we have, or that I have. I'll speak for myself again. So when you have somebody like that, when you're trying to grow and you're already doubting yourself, and then you have somebody shit on you like that, it makes you feel like, maybe this guy's right. Maybe I can't do it.
Yeah, not me.
That's the thought that comes into my brain, man.
I'm gonna be him, and I'm gonna do it the right way. Yeah. That's all I think.
But it also goes to what Rob said about objections and why you're so successful, because you were the one who was always being, told that. And you're, so you push through it because you're like, I'm going to prove you wrong. So
and that's what we do.
I think that translates to how we do business too, right? Because it's like, we look at people like that, like they're our equals, regardless of our position. So we want people to be on our team. We want people to be right next to us. We don't want to be a corporate conglomerate,
right?
As an umbrella over everybody. We want to be right next to them.
That used to piss me off, working in corporate, and people like, who you're talking to? And I'm like, they put their pants on the same way as I do every day.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
That's why we don't call ourselves corporate.
No.
Oh, what did Jay Lesko just said? I got a better name for you, and I really liked it. I have to ask him what it was.
Yeah, he was like, the mothership sounds really weird. So for anybody that doesn't know, we call ourselves, the corporate team, the mothership, because we don't like the word corporate, because we don't ever want to be viewed as that. And one of our owners, Jay Lesko, said, I really think that sounds like a cult, and you guys should change it.
Yeah, he would say that.
Which kind of, I guess it kind of does.
Did he say that when he was up on the panel on the stage or whatever? By the way, he had some good jokes.
He's fun. Yeah, I got to figure out what he said, because it was really good. It was in our year in review, and he was like, you should call yourselves this. And I'm like, oh, I like that. I'm going to have to ask him what that is again. I guess it's mothership.
You really liked it.
Beam me down.
It so much that
beam me down, Scotty.
Beam me up, actually.
Beam me up?
Beam me up, Scotty.
Oh, my bad.
It's okay.
I'm not a Trekkie.
Nanu. But that's not Trekkie either. Live, peace, and prosper. Remember Nanu?
Yeah.
No.
Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy. Yeah. that shows my age. That shows my age.
We're in our 30s.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Lisa, we should talk about your story.
Talking about?
We just went way off the path.
So how did I get here? That's what you want to know?
Yeah.
We want to know.
So 2018, I did what everyone's doing now. I quit my job, a career that I worked really hard for 20 years to get into, and what I thought I always wanted. And at that point, Alyssa, my daughter, was 4 years from going to college, and I was not home 80 hours a week, kind of like Rob. You're never home, traveling, working all the time. So the job I was in was a pretty big job. I had to give a 3-month notice. So I did. And at the time, Corey and I...
And who was that for? Who'd you work for?
I worked for a global engineering firm at that point. It was a big engineering firm. I did not work at the Vanguard at that point. Gotcha. That was before that. That was actually a good career. Yeah. I mean, that was a good place to be. But with any corporate world, you have Kool-Aid that's involved. So you drink the Kool-Aid, man, or you don't. But yeah, Corey and I, our kids were going to school together, playing basketball together. We carpooled each other's kids, took turns.
That we did.
Yeah, I always love when I get stories from Alyssa. Mom, Corey was driving like this and told us not to drive like this when we get older.
A great driver.
You are a great driver.
Great driver, Lisa.
I've seen you in action, Corey. So
coming from you.
Coming from the two that race down the highway, together against each other. So, but yeah, so Corey's like, get your real estate license. You can help me, which
I've said that to many people.
And I don't think I ever helped Corey. I helped Rob more than I helped Corey. So I went and got my license and started doing that, but continued to enjoy not working a little bit and getting things done that I hadn't gotten done at home. And the admin in Hershey left, and I was like, I should probably work a little bit and make some more money than what I'm doing right now. So,
I just want to interject there and say that when you were applying for that job, Adam didn't want to hire you.
He did not want to hire you.
He was like completely Adam was adamant.
I know.
Adam was adamant.
He was like, no.
Do I ever want to hire anybody?
He
That's
never
true.
does.
That
This
is
is true.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Yeah, I was going to say the same comment, but we can't.
I can't do that.
We have to behave.
Okay.
Adam didn't want to hire
It's
you.
like the same mind, similar mind.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be a problem.
Could be a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, I know Adam didn't want to hire me, but I was like, hey, I can do this. And it worked out well because I'd be in the office and Rob would be like, can you go show a house for me really quick or whatever. So it worked out well because we were quiet.
Is that what was going on?
It literally was. Well, that office was so quiet originally, right? That was the one that took the hardest. Yeah. It took the longest
I think I had
grow.
Danielle show houses for me too.
I've had Danielle
probably
show
had
houses
all of our
for me
admin
too.
show houses for me.
Yeah. So
You're a
occasionally.
user and abuser.
That's what I do.
It's all good. That's why most of our admins are licensed, so we can do that for them, right? So, but yeah, so started working there. But as I was working, I started getting more and more projects on the franchise because I was like, "What are you guys doing?" So more things piled on, and then
She saw that we were three idiots that were in need of some help. So
we're a hot mess.
In a highly regulated industry,
and
we were operating
in the gray area.
we live in the gray area.
We lived
in the gray area.
Yeah.
And now Lisa's kind of brought us to the, I don't know which direction.
I don't know, somewhere
You brought us somewhere.
in the middle. In the middle.
Lisa's the glue that kind of holds this whole ship together in more ways than one. So she's definitely needed.
I appreciate that. But yeah, it's been fun because, I mean, when I started, it was right when York. That was York. That was like right around the time. Yeah, because it was first franchise started. So essentially, I've been part of this. Yeah. Essentially, I've been part of this since the beginning, just doing different jobs. But yeah, we started growing, moved into our location in Lebanon, where we had our first office there.
The first corporate headquarters.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the background noise is awesome. Every 5 minutes, it was like a 2-stroke motorcycle going down the street or something.
Or the guy that carried the speaker on his cart.
Oh
would
yeah,
walk down the street with a speaker on his cart.
It was awesome.
Well, there was a chicken or rooster somewhere too out back that would
crowing.
That would crow.
And I think the roof leaked too on my desk all the time.
All the time.
All the time on your desk.
And then we had a bird. Remember the bird broke in and it was like shitting
flying
everywhere.
around,
And that was great. That was
the office was cool though.
The office was cool. I mean, it was just. It didn't really make sense where it was at though, where it was located.
I think it was cool until we started bringing people there.
Yeah.
Like really started bringing people there, and then we're like, maybe this isn't a great.
Well, every time we brought somebody, we're like, oh yeah, you're gonna be here, but stay in Hershey.
Eat in Hershey, stay in Hershey, do this in Hershey, but come to Lebanon for training. It's only 25 minutes.
And it worked out.
Originally, we did that because that's where we were all from. So that's
Yeah.
why we chose to be in Lebanon. We thought that was where we should be, but.
Yeah. Well, we weren't even going to get an office. That was a whole fight. We were all back and forth about that.
True.
About getting an office.
That was a fight. Changing the branding was a fight. There was lots of fights.
Change is hard.
Back end systems. Back end systems were a fight. All you need is signs in the ground. All you need is signs in the ground, guys.
Yeah. Signs in the yard. Signs in the yards and splits.
We love you, man.
But they were great splits. Those plans are one of the reasons we're here.
Yeah,
They're still great
they're
splits.
proven to hold themselves through the years as they go on.
Yeah,
and
good.
And through different markets too, right?
Yeah, in different markets too. Yeah,
for
you're
sure.
right.
So it's a good thing. So
all good things.
It's great things. So that's the story of us and how we got here. Why do you guys think this works?
Because we're all so different. I think everybody brings something special to the table. Some of us are a little more special than others, you know.
We're all special.
We're all a little special in our own
special
way.
But no, I think that's, for me, it's because we all are different in a lot of ways.
I always go back to humility because it's one of our things. But for me, I think it's because we were all willing to listen and learn. And we were like blessed to have some really great people in the franchise company and around us that really brought some good things to the table and helped us improve. I feel like, to me, that's, we're all willing to learn and we're all willing to improve. Like, you know, Corey and I were willing to listen to Adam and learn in the beginning. Adam was willing to listen to us and the different things that we brought to the table. We were all willing to listen to Lisa and all the things that she brought to the table. And we're all willing to listen to like our advisory board and our owners and say, hey, you're right. We could do that better. Help us do it better. Like, what are your thoughts?
Exactly. To that point, that brings me back to when we opened Camp Hill, and I won't say what owner came into our office and said, I can't wait to watch you guys fail. Now, this is a brokerage that had been around for 25 years, something like that. And
one of the biggest ones.
Right. They've done things the same way for forever. So that, I think for me, seeing that guy and us seeing that guy saying that and realizing that he's done things the same way and that's the way it's going to stay, we don't ever want to become that complacent, fat, rich, happy broker at the top.
Fat, rich, and happy at the top.
Anyway.
I might be a little chubby, though.
It's all good, man.
Not quite rich.
It's okay.
I like to eat, too. So.
I mean, I think one of the things that works for us, too, is that we all don't like that corporate word, right?
No.
We want things to be different, and I think our agents see that, and our owners see that, and they want that, too. So I think that's a big thing. Like, we're not afraid of being ourselves.
I think it's a good balance, too. It's not like, fuck the world, we hate corporate.
Right.
It's like we hate some of the things that happen in corporate. We understand that some of the structure and the things have to be there. Like
necessary.
we don't push back, but on those kind of things. But we're like, hey, listen, we can be different. It's 2023. Like you don't have to show up in a suit and tie to everything. You don't have to pretend you're better than everyone in the room. Like those are the things that we can throw in the trash.
I agree.
Agreed.
So before we got in here, we actually were talking about the market. So maybe we should talk about that a little bit, like what's going on. Because I know here we were just saying how it's still crazy.
Yeah, I think really, I mean, anytime the market is good and sales come very easy for agents, I think agents become very complacent, or a lot of people get into the business and don't really learn how to work the business. And then when that changes or the market kind of slows up or there's a shift or a pivot, a lot of agents kind of don't know what to do, or, they get out of the business altogether because they haven't focused or spent time on actually building their real estate business. So, my advice, at least what I've seen, throughout my career, the up and downs, is take this time and really focus and learn and, learn to build your business, go back to the basics. I think where the market is at really is, we're just at a place, a little bit of a correction. And I think, quite honestly, in the past quarter or two, we've probably seen the low or the bottom. Things have started to pick back up, and I think rates will ease. And I think you'll see more of a moderation or a balance between inventory and, demand, which I think is still a little bit out of balance, but I think at some point that will correct. But as an agent, from an agent standpoint, really now is a good time to get back to the basics and really invest in your business and focus on that. And
especially so us being in Pennsylvania, that's the Northeast is still having a pretty hopping market, but like the West Coast isn't as busy. They're on a decline rate. That's what you were hearing at Inman and other places. And then I personally just saw in Florida too, the same thing, like stuff is sitting longer. So agents are going back to a normal cycle.
South is still hot though. Like, if you look at the South, like Southeast corridor, I think in comparison to like 2001, which is where they usually compare things, I think it's at a 96%. So where we're actually at like a 60-some%. The issue we have is just an extreme deficit in listings right now.
Yeah, and the Northeast too
right now
has seen the highest decline, I think, in sales overall, the Northeast region.
Yeah, it's brutal.
And I think a lot of it has to do with just not having the inventory.
Because people ran out of here. That's part of it. I mean, people ran away from the Northeast during COVID. Everybody ran down south. Everybody ran, they ran. Nobody's moving right now. It's brutal. It's crazy. Do you guys see the stats for Virginia Beach, though? Number 2 hottest market in 2022 in the country. We have an office there. It's crazy to think of, like it's a bubble, but
it
was cool. Shout out to Virginia Beach.
Get it, boys.
But yeah, that's the unique thing I think with us is that we're all up and down the East Coast. I can't wait till we go all the way across the country, but it's nice to listen to perspectives from different markets because they all are different and they're all experiencing different things. So it's a cool unique perspective for sure.
Did like what Adam said though about back to the basics, doing the things that helps your business to grow, and you have to grind in it now. It's not the same as taking candy from a baby like it was when we were, a couple years ago. Now we have to work.
That was all they said at Inman. Back to the basics. Back to the basics. Back to the basics.
Right, and then owners have to do the same thing. They kind of have to step back and help their agents get back to that, because they didn't. Even as an owner or a broker, you didn't have time for any of that the last couple of years.
Focus on training.
Right.
You didn't have time because everybody was slammed.
Right.
And busy. And now we have to focus on training.
Yeah, support, training.
Yeah, and becoming more efficient too in your business.
Right.
And I think you see that large and small. Large companies right now are looking at that. Looking to cut out what they can and become more efficient. But at the same time, don't hesitate or stifle your growth by not reinvesting in your business too. I think a lot of businesses make that mistake in a downward trend or market cycle, is to not invest for the next 5 years out.
But what are you investing in for an agent? I mean, lead generation is kind of,
I think the biggest thing, like I said,
right now.
I think I said before, is really getting back to basics. So investing not necessarily money, but investing your time in how you're doing things and how you're building your network with people and business, and growing that aspect of it. So I think really just investing your time back into the basics, really.
I think the other thing is it needs to be a lesson learned, because I think what we saw during COVID was a lot of agents just enjoy that instant gratification, sell a bunch of homes, never talk to those people again, never work on that network, never try to get referrals from them, because they thought that they didn't think the next person was coming to them right away. And I think it should be a lesson learned that when things are really good, you need to focus on the little things, like making sure you build that referral basis so that when times are slow now, those are the people that are coming to you. You're not having to rely on leads coming in, which they're not. You can rely on those personal referrals that you built during the good times. And I think there's a lot of agents that I think got hit with a taste of reality when the market slowed down, and they're like, oh man, I can't, these free leads aren't coming to me anymore. Why are nobody giving me referrals? Because you didn't care about them. That's why they're not giving you referrals.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree.
Preach, brother, preach.
I think it's a great opportunity for people that are in this business full time too, because a lot of the part-time agents that does happen, and they're not going to put their extra time into growing out their real estate business. A lot of them just end up getting out of the business altogether.
We could probably use some of them getting out of the business, honestly.
Yeah.
So everybody had their real estate license during COVID. It wasn't a great thing.
Yeah, because in a lot of places it was the one thing you could still do. I mean, not in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, not
Real
in
estate was a little
Pennsylvania.
bit weird for a while.
We
but
figured a way
we
around
figured
it.
a way around it.
I keep talking about the Orlando stat just because it blows my mind, but just the Orlando area in Florida has 20,000 agents. In 2022, only 9,000 of those 20,000 agents sold at least one home. So 11,000
Ouch.
people have their real estate license in 2022 and didn't sell a single home. So if that tells you about the abundance of real estate agents that need to kick rocks,
Be gone.
be gone.
Hang your license somewhere else. Put it in referral status. Or just get rid of it. What? You wanted to say something.
I was going to be a shameless plug for you. Refer it Realty, but I won't do that.
I mean, you can.
Okay.
Hey, so we made the news this week, kind of.
Real trends.
We made Real Trends.
Boom.
Killing
Pretty
it.
exciting.
58.
We were 58. So we went up, right, from last year, which is
58.
nice.
58 of what?
We were ranked at 58th out of the
Of all
brokerages.
the brokerages that have
In
applied.
the
or
country.
submitted.
Yeah.
Top 500, number 58,
Yeah.
Lebanon, PA.
Not bad.
And it included, like, they break it into categories. So it was like 500 buy sides, 500 by volume, Billionaires Club. We made the Billionaires Club. Largest independents, top movers by transactions, top movers by volume. So it's pretty cool.
We need to give all those to the marketing department. Put it out there.
Yep.
We do.
Get those nice little banners out there for everybody, right?
It's pretty cool though seeing those things. For real. I know we're not numbers driven, but it's cool to see that little old Iron Valley Real Estate from Lebanon, PA is on that
Yeah.
national list.
Well, you got to put it out there because a lot of people don't know, or our agents don't know, and I think
Yeah.
putting that out there is great. For people to be able to say we're a part of this organization that started as a small company and look where we're at today.
Still a small company,
It is.
We're still little.
but we're trying.
We're the little people.
But going back to what we talked about earlier, that's another thing that makes us work, because who else can call any of their main people at any point in time when we talk to anybody, right? It's not like we look at it and say, oh, well, we're the owners. We don't have time for you.
You don't talk to
me. You suck. Yeah. That's not how we are, right? Like, our freaking owners call us all the time.
For sure.
At late at night.
That they do.
And we appreciate that. We'd rather them call us.
We love you guys.
We do. We love them. Okay, awesome. So, I said one of the things we could talk about is just a diary entry. Like, what does your week look like? Like, what things have been in your mind over the last week that you want to talk about? I mean, I know Rob, he probably wants to talk about LLS because that's all he's doing.
I don't really want to talk about it, but it's all right. Yeah, all I'm doing is LLS right now. I'm doing some year-end reviews, though. I'm going to see Carlisle today, and I see Burks tomorrow here, so I got 2 year-end reviews for our owners. But, yeah, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society Visionary of the Year right now is crazy. It just started on Thursday, so I have 10 weeks to raise as much money as I can. My goal is $250,000, which is wild. So pretty much from the time I wake up till the time I go to bed right now, it's LLS. And shout out to all of our people in Iron Valley, hashtag Iron Valley Strong, because I've gotten a lot of donations already from our people. So that's super dope. I appreciate y'all.
What am I working on right now? I'm working on, franchise FDD renewals for the year and audited financial statements, getting that done with the accountant, tax returns.
All that fun stuff.
Coming up due.
Thank God you're doing that, Adam. Love you.
That makes me want to throw up a little. Just a little.
Just a little bit.
Finances and compliance.
I'm calling people. That's what I do. Calling people, doing Zooms with potential franchisees. Meeting this week with some people in Exton for a possible franchise, and that's pretty much what I'm doing. Do you want to get into the philosophical stuff? Or
I mean, we can. I mean, seriously, like,
we can.
Honestly,
that'll be a whole other show. So.
It could just be part of this show. I mean,
we don't want to do that yet.
Because really, we
don't want to scare people yet.
We don't. But
let's try to keep it surface level real estate.
But I'm sure there's things that keep you up at night. Those are important topics because people need to know.
Being hood rich, that keeps me up at night. Spending all my money when I had it, so I don't have it now. That's my problem. Oh, look, I need 5 4-wheelers because we're going to go 4-wheeling tomorrow. So let me go buy 5 4-wheelers cash. Really smart. Oh, look, I think I want to go fishing. Let me buy $5,000 worth of fishing gear to go fishing tomorrow, and boats and whatever else we get. Corey and I are really
Rob and I have a problem with. Let's just say we are the poster children for ADHD. So this could be an ADHD show as well.
Could be.
Yeah,
all right. Me and Lisa handle the budgeting and books here in the business. So.
Yeah, Adam got a little nervous because we're throwing that out there. So
he got nervous,
like, oh my god. No, but I mean, I definitely whatever I'm doing, I get in all in. If I'm snowboarding, I'm buying 17 snowboards and one for each condition and all the gear, all the boots. For all the backcountry snowboarding that I'm doing, which I'm not. So, but you need all the stuff for it.
You need it.
It's important to have it.
Gotta have it.
And as soon as you have it, you're like, I don't even need this.
Yeah.
And then you sell it all.
Yeah. Brand new.
Yeah.
Worn one time.
Yeah.
And you lose like a couple $100 on everything.
It's funny because we talked about this at lunch the one day, and I'm like, you guys are that way, and so maybe it's the ADHD, and I'm the exact opposite. I was the poor kid who's like, I'm scared to spend money and not put it in the right things because I'm scared I'll never have money and I won't have food on my table and I won't be able to take care of my family. So even having, what I do have, I don't want to spend it.
For me,
Adam's the same way.
For me, I think it's the hustler mentality, which is good and bad.
Yeah.
And I know you can relate to that because it's like, for me, I've always been down, but I've always figured a way to climb back out of it and make money. Like, I'm very good about, if I need to make money, I'm going to find a bunch of ways legally to make money. And I know that I can hustle and make it work. So I have that in the back of my mind, which is scary because then I live
you're
with
always able to do it.
Yeah. If I'm going to, I spend 10 grand today. Oh no, I need 10 grand. I'm going to find a way to make 10 grand ASAP and get through it. But it's a problem. It's a good problem and a bad problem, right? Because it's like, I do lean on, I'm not going to lie, and I appreciate Adam. I do lean on him to help me with that, and I've been trying to make a really good effort. He got me on Mint, which has been great, and I've been tracking everything, which is eye-opening. For all of you guys that spend way too much money and don't really track your finances, just get like a credit card that tracks it or something, or Mint, And it opened your eyes. I remember when I got my American Express and I got it back and I used it for like 6 months and I looked at the statement and it said $25,000 on food. And I'm like,
that's a problem.
Excuse me? And then we stopped going out. I've only gone out to eat once a week now since then for months. Now we eat at home and we cook at home, but it was like, you don't know that. If you don't track it, if you're not watching your spending, you don't know you do that.
We're all learning. We're not pretending that we have our shit together because we don't, but we're getting there. So, right. As long as we're trying to move the right direction.
And when you hear Rob say 25,000,
Adam has his shit together in some ways. In other ways, he doesn't. But he has
hearing Rob say $25,000 in food, people need to understand that means that he's also probably buying like $200 bottles of wine in that $25,000.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. Maybe not 200.
Like,
no, when I'm out, it's only when we put it on the company card that we do that.
That's true.
Yeah, and
put it on Adam's tab.
About that.
No, I'm usually. I used to be. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But I used to be about $120, like bottles for like $100, $120 when I go out to eat. Now,
but still, some people, for some people, they're like, that's not a reality, right? Like,
it's stupid.
That's not a reality.
Right, exactly. For a lot of people, it's not a reality.
It is stupid.
It's stupid.
So put it in perspective of that. You're like, okay,
But I also believe work hard, play hard. So
agreed.
I've always lived like that. I have one life to live, and it might end when I wake up tomorrow.
I think that's my biggest reason why I spend money or do the things that I want to do, because I look at my life, or look at my dad who died at 58 of cancer. I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, I have 12 years. I have 12 years left on it. And not saying that that's going to happen to me, but that's how I view it.
Right.
Yeah. So why not enjoy the time that I have? You know?
That's real. The older we get, the more real that becomes too. Because like, I've lost a lot of friends recently to health. I lost 2 in the last 2 weeks. Actually, I don't put my stuff out there, but I lost a kid that I was cool with in high school and I've known for a long time to a heart attack. And I lost a really close friend of mine from New York, a really dope DJ, to health issues because he didn't take care of his body, and he's my age. And I think that like at our age, that becomes more real. Like you see your friends that, you think you got another 20 years with and they're dying because they didn't take care of their health. So it's a reality, but you're right. It's like, oh, I don't want to go do this. I've always wanted this car. Well, I'm going to wait and not buy this car. Mm-hmm. And then what happens if I die 2 years and I never bought the car I wanted? So you know what? I'm going to buy the car that I wanted. And then if I can't afford it, I'll take it back. But seriously.
Or get taken out by a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
I know.
Whatever.
That's
YOLO.
painful.
At least it wasn't a person.
This is true.
Very true.
All right. You guys want to end it on a fun game? Because I like to throw games out.
Yay, game time.
Game time. It's fun. Okay, well, I don't know if it's fun. We're going to play Would You Rather. Would you rather your only mode of transportation be a donkey or a giraffe?
I'm going giraffe all day.
I'm going donkey. They can go forever.
I was thinking donkey because I want to say I want to ride my ass.
I will take whatever's available.
Whatever's the cheapest.
Whatever's the cheapest. I think a donkey's
is.
probably going to be way cheaper than a giraffe.
You're probably right.
So then definitely a donkey.
This is where Adam's like the juxtaposition. Like, is it the fastest or the cheapest? Because like you're the dude who races on a track. So like, would you want the giraffe?
Are you going for endurance or are you going for speed?
Yeah.
I'll probably go for the cheapest on this one.
On this one.
See, I want to just pop up at people's houses on their second floor and have my giraffe look in the window.
That's true. That would be kind of cool.
I just want to mess with people.
It would be cool to have a giraffe.
It'd be cool to have
for
a giraffe.
sure. But would you rather have a hook for a hand or a peg for a leg?
Hook for a hand. Nope. Hands down.
Yeah.
Did you get that? You hear that little joke there?
I got it.
Hands
Hook
down.
for a hand.
Hands down.
I'm going hook too. Just
I want to be
it's
Captain Hook.
badass.
I want to be Captain Hook. I want an eye patch too to go along with that hook.
Yeah.
I have to.
I'm going with the peg because I need both my hands to operate the computer, which I use on a daily basis.
That's true.
What if the hook had to go on your dominant hand?
Ooh, that's an issue.
I'm all right with it.
You'd be okay
I don't
with
like
it?
that.
Yeah.
I don't think I could.
I'd probably become a criminal. I would just mess people up. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like if I had a hook on my hand, I'd be like badass. Doesn't that feel badass? I'd probably like throw a patch on my face and call.
You need the
be
patch,
like a pirate.
bro. You have to.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd probably
but you could do that with a peg.
I'd probably steal Jolin's pirate ship and just drive that around all the time.
It's pretty slow though.
It's definitely more intimidating to have a hook on your hand though than a
for
peg
sure.
leg.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But you could hook a gun to the peg leg. Like
See,
have a gun.
I was thinking you could
With
hide
a
stuff
gun.
in your peg leg. So
I mean, the legs anymore though are
There's
so
all those-
advanced.
I
Like you
know.
can't
That's
even tell.
No, but she said a peg leg.
but
It's
it has
wooden.
to be a peg leg.
Peg leg,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's a
It
wooden
has to be a
peg.
It
peg
has
leg.
to be. Right.
Yeah. I'd probably do the hook because I like to run too much still to have a peg leg. And if I can't have the prosthetics, I don't think running with a peg leg would work very well.
I'd like to just
that'd be funny.
get over here.
Yeah, so I'm thinking. See what I mean? That's what I mean.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Like, get over here.
I don't have that voice.
Sounds like a Mortal
Get over
Kombat
here.
voice.
Yeah.
Finish him.
Finish him.
Okay. Would you rather be able to read everyone's minds or move objects with your mind?
Read minds.
I don't think I'd want to read minds.
No.
I wouldn't want to. Well, I mean, it would be nice in business for sure to be able to read minds.
I think I'm already pretty decent at not reading minds, but I feel like I'm, Corey is too. Like, I can pick up on what people are thinking or feeling pretty. You can, if you're good at that.
Body
you're good at
language,
that.
all of
So
that stuff.
I'm just going to say move objects just because, again, I like to fuck with people. So, like, could you imagine, like, being in a meeting and their coffee starts sliding across in front
Spill it
of
on
them?
them.
That would be hilarious.
I
would
think
be
we'd scare all our customers off by doing that.
Yeah. I don't know.
I honestly don't think I'd want to read anyone's minds because I don't want to know how dark and I don't
That's what
want
I'm
to know.
saying.
Like
I wouldn't want to know what people are thinking.
the people that you think
I
are
know-
probably like
I know how I think, and I don't want to be in my head.
Exactly.
Someday.
Yeah, that's a good point because somebody you really like or admire, and then you're in their head, and all of a sudden they're talking about some stuff, and you're in their head, and you're like,
oh yeah, oh no, I don't want to know this. Yeah, exactly.
that's crazy.
Okay, would you rather have all the traffic lights you approach be green or never have to stand in line again?
Never have to stand in line.
I would never want to stand in line again.
I think the line for
The
me.
line
is-
for me, 100%.
I could the traffic lights I could handle, but I think like going to like Hershey Park
It's not
or
gonna
Disney
always be
World, man,
red.
you could just go get on a roller coaster and not have to wait. That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
Fast
I'm
pass.
impatient.
A fast pass for life.
Fast
I
pass.
want a life fast pass.
Roll up everywhere. That'd be great when you go to the airport. I can say that.
I got the fast
Especially
pass.
Orlando
sure.
Airport. That's the worst.
Atlanta, I think Atlanta's worse. Than
Pre-screen,
Orlando,
man.
like
TSA
if you're
pre-screen.
leaving Orlando when all the families are there,
Yeah.
I
It
spent
is
It's
packed.
that's
I've
hard.
had a
cruise.
2.5 hour line before I had TSA. Like I'm like pre-check. I was like 2.5 hours I have to
That's-
stand in.
So I got
Orlando.
lucky that time we were down in Orlando at the show. There was a massive line, probably a 30-minute line.
And
to get
believe me,
through.
he loved the fact that he could show that he didn't need to use Clear or TSA to get through it. I mean, he was really enjoying showing that to me.
Well, some guy that was there working for Clear came up out of nowhere and pulled me aside and said, "Hey, I can get you through here in a couple minutes," and it was free. It was a trial. They put me right through.
free.
Anyway,
And then you're going to be like, Corey, forget that it was a trial, and then it's going to charge
I've
your card.
been paying for it for 3 years now.
I
However long it's
immediately
been.
canceled my subscription. So,
Of course
I
you
did
did.
not. Because we use it, and I use it for my family.
well,
when
I
we
got
go
the
to-
TSA or the pre-screen,
Yeah.
which is free.
Both are good because you know what I've been noticing right now? TSA pre-check sucks in some airports. There's been twice now because I was flying a lot recently for those year-end reviews and whatever else. There was twice that I had to go to the normal line instead of TSA pre-check because TSA pre-check was actually longer
Yeah.
Longer.
than the normal line.
Well, that's what Atlanta, the last time I was in it, that's how it was. That TSA pre-check was like miles long. I'm
everybody's
like,
getting
you're
it.
better off.
Everybody's getting it now,
You're
yeah.
better off just being in the regular line. Would you rather be unable to move every time it rains or not be able to stop moving while the sun is out?
That's
my
so
God.
strange. I'm going to say not being able to stop moving when the
Who
sun's
comes up
out.
with these
Cool.
questions?
Yeah, that's
I
weird.
don't know.
I don't want to
Wait,
not be
say
able to
say
move.
this again, Lisa.
You would not be able to move every time it rains, or you wouldn't be able to stop moving while the sun is out. Like I just want to keep moving.
Stop moving
You'd want to stop
while the
moving.
sun is out.
Yeah.
I'd be running all the
Yeah,
time.
that's what I want.
Be running
Yeah.
everywhere.
Not
But
to
could you
mention it
imagine
rains
if you
here more
lived?
anyway.
Imagine if you lived in like Alaska or one of those places that's like sunlight 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Moving a lot.
You would never get to sleep.
Yeah, I think
ever.
rain is pretty depressing. I think
It
it's
is.
in a bad state of mind if you're constantly in rain.
Yeah, that'd be horrible.
And then then you wouldn't be able to move.
I
You'd
lived
be
in Seattle
stuck.
for
Yeah, anyway, you did,
a
didn't you?
while, and that was so. For those of you that don't know, I'm black, and I would go to tanning beds there because you get no serotonin at all. I mean, you're literally in the dark all the time, and it's always raining and cold, and you just feel like crap. So yeah, I would go tanning, which was funny.
That is funny.
Get your vitamin D.
Get your
Yeah.
vitamin D. And Seattle is
Anything to get the
beautiful. It's beautiful out
Anything
there.
for the D,
It is beautiful there, but I would not want to live there.
vitamin D. That is.
Would you rather have skin that changes color based on your emotion or tattoos that appear all over your body daily with what you did the previous day?
Oh, man, they're both horrible. I don't really want to. Oh, ooh.
I'll do the skin emotion thing.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already do that.
Well, that's exactly why I picked that. Yeah.
You already do that.
Yeah, you already do that. I'm going to skin too, just because I don't want anybody to see what I did the day before. You never know what you did the day before. It'd be terrible.
Part of me thinks do the tattoo, because how many people are going to actually look at every particular thing of your
On those days that was bad, I just
cover up or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you could cover it up.
I mean,
crazy.
like Adam, you guys always call me out on my facial expressions anyway, so I
don't really do anything
show
though anymore. Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, that would be terrible. But now, like, I'm good. I probably would take the tattoos, honestly, now that I think through it.
All right, I have 2 more of these and then we're done. Would you rather randomly travel time plus or minus 20 years every time you fart? Or
what?
Teleport to a different place on Earth, or it has to be on land every time you sneeze?
I'm going sneeze.
You don't want to go back or forth in time 20 years if you fart?
No.
I think I fart way too much to be.
Yeah, that's what
If you imagine if you ate beans or Mexican
I would never.
food,
I would
then,
constantly be.
Nobody would ever see me.
Yeah.
right?
Be out.
Well, I'm
You'd be a
going
constant time traveler.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, where's Corey? Oh, he's 20 years in the past.
Yep, no,
Yo, not to mention,
he'll be back in a
depending
few
on
minutes.
where they put you, Corey, you'd be in deep.
you'd be in trouble.
Deep
deep
no,
cut, bro.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
right.
I'm
Is
good
it
on that.
20 years in the past and then in Back to the Future? Or
Yeah, you
like
could go either
forward,
way.
or
You could
is
go
it-
plus
That's
20
just
years or
weird.
minus 20 years. I wouldn't
Or
want
could
to.
you just continue to keep going forward?
No, I think it's random.
All random. You
So,
could,
yeah, I don't wanna do
no
that.
thanks, I'm going to pass.
So you'd
I'm
never
good.
get back to your initial starting point, maybe.
Potentially.
I don't want to go back
This
to
is
the
very
South
deep.
in the 20, 30, 40,
No.
60 years ago. I don't, or ever. I'm good.
Yeah, I don't need to go back too far.
I do love the South, though.
I do too. Okay, last one.
Just not that part of the South.
Sweet tea and collard greens.
I'm down.
All right, last one. Would you rather have a flying carpet or a car that can drive underwater?
I'm taking
Flying
the
carpet.
Flying carpet.
Flying carpet.
Always
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
I kind
I
of
mean,
have
you do.
one,
You
though.
fly, bro. You have a plane.
World. Sorry.
That's what I was like. I could be like
You
Jasmine.
could do that. Your hair would go in the wind.
Fly over the world.
Yeah,
I do have a plane that Corey refuses to get into.
Nope. I've gotten in it. That's a whole other. That's a whole other conversation.
One time.
I enjoy flying in a plane. I think it's cool.
I like flying in planes that have two engines.
No, I like his.
Or more.
That's cool.
One
It
engine.
just becomes a glider if you lose the engine.
Yeah, sort of.
I just
Glider
like that you
goes
fly
right into the
low.
ground.
That's what I like about yours because
Yeah.
you see things.
Yeah.
Like we saw some. It's crazy. Like when the first time we were flying over like Cornwall and Gretna, and you're seeing these houses that you never knew
saw.
existed there, and you're like, who owns that? Where did that come from? Like those kind of things are cool. I think.
It's like a road trip, but you get to see a lot more, than
For
just
sure.
the road around you when you're driving. Definitely.
I think it's cool. I may or may have not seen the flight simulator out on the Gap. May or may not have. But seeing like you can see it there too when you're flying. Like they let you fly the Black Hawk and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And
That's
it's
cool.
kind of cool to see like the area. You're like, oh, I know where that is. Oh, there's my house.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for staying tuned to our first podcast. More to come.
Thank you guys
Yeah, thank you.
Thank y'all.
for listening to our ramblings for the last. I don't know how long this was. How long was this?
Look at that.
All right. Peace.
Later.
Yeah.